Alright, it's time to go back. Way, way back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today I am reacting to my very first book haul. I don't have a name for this series, so if you have a recommendation for the name, let me know in the comments down below. But before we get into this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel as it does help the channel grow, and you can go into the description box, check out the links to my social media, links to my Pango books for books that I'm removing from my shelves, the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, and of course links to my Patreon if you want to help support what I do here. Now the idea of this video is to kind of take a second to analyze my very first book haul. Did I keep the book? Did I rate the book? Did I unhaul the book? Let's just kind of get into this because it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to be looking at the laptop, and hopefully the technology all works together so we can get a pretty good viewing experience here for you. But yeah, I'll be doing commentary and all sorts of stuff like that. So I've got the video queued up, and we're going to go ahead and hit play. And right off the bat, I mean, I'm just staring into my soul with that. Like, I don't like this intro. I don't know where this intro came from. I think I borrowed it from Nico. We used to have pretty basic introductions. And yeah, like this has gotten a lot better. You can already tell. I haven't even started playing the video. Horrible lighting, horrible framing, just horrible everything. So it's good to know that I've come quite a long way from where I started. Also, let me know if, like, this video is privated, so it's not even available for you to view. Let me know if you want me to unlock these. I'll give them to you guys, but yeah, that's your call. Like, you've been warned. It's cringy. Like, everybody's first content's cringy. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, so let's start the video.
Hello,
and welcome to my channel. And already, like, I'm analyzing my video here. This is why this is never a good idea. But, like, I just took some text in Photoshop, slapped it over a picture I took, and then put music on top, and that was my intro. So, yay, that worked well. And, I mean, I own... from this shot, 2 of the books are already gone. Like, I don't own... actually, 3 of them. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, there's a Lord of the Rings that I sent to Patrick Ryan, who has then done a giveaway for that very book. So I don't have King's Dragon, I don't have that Lord of the Rings edition. I do have Lord of the Rings, but I don't have those. And I don't have that edition of Dune because I went and got the Folio set.
Hey everyone, welcome back to...
Ugh, I hated that ring light. I hated that ring light. And then right here, if you're looking, I don't have any of those Crown of Stars. Those are now with Nico. I don't have any of the Thomas Covenant books. I don't have those Expanse books. I don't have those Red Rising books. This was like one of the 2 shelves I had. And yeah, I've still got that candle though. The candle is right here. So that candle is still there. And I think this is the Stein that you're seeing right there. So I thought I was doing good. I wasn't.
Andrew's Wizardly Reads. And today I have got my birthday book haul for you.
Book haul.
But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get regular updates for when I post new content. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Oh, God. Posting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm actually going to go a little bit faster on this because watching myself at normal speed is painful. So I'm going to go at 1.5 speed and see what that does. But I only do Mondays and Fridays now. But I used to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then I went Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then just my schedule's been all over the place.
And if you haven't already joined the Discord, make sure to check the description for the link down below. And that said, guys, I have a book buying habit. And I also have
I still have a book buying habit.
Weakness for cheap books. And Book Outlet was brought to my attention this month. And
I don't really buy from Book Outlet anymore.
As I said, this is a birthday book haul. So a lot of these are gifts. I did not pay for a lot of this out of pocket. But I am both amazed, astounded, and a little dubious on the amount of books I have for you. It's not the biggest book haul I've ever seen, but right now it's 32. I still have some that haven't even gotten here, which I'm gonna go ahead and place on April's TBR, or April's book haul, not TBR. My TBR is so destroyed at this point. Oh God.
Okay, hold on. I can't hear myself. So we are going to increase the volume.
So some of these you'll have seen in videos just because I couldn't wait till the book haul to show them off. But these are all books that I have received and been gifted or purchased in the month of March. So, top of the stack, we have got the
25th right off the bat. Edition. Right off the bat, I don't have this one anymore. I don't have any of the Shannara books. The collections were big, beefy, and hard to collect. Like, I think like the last two were out of print, which was super annoying. Like, really super annoying. So I don't have these anymore, and I couldn't see myself reading them in a like reasonable time frame, so I just removed them from the collection. Maybe someday I'll go back and I'll do Shannara, but it will be a good long while before I do so.
Hardcover of The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. This is a very old school fantasy. It has been around for...
And I'm pretty sure I told a lie where I was like, I'm not going to do big book hauls. I've done pretty much big book hauls every month since I started this channel. I'm a lying liar who lies.
Quite a while. I think it's older than 25 years, but I'm not entirely sure. I know the chronologically Shannara can be all over the place, I think. So I don't know where this falls within the Shannara world, but obviously it's been 25 years, and it had just...
It was the first collection. I should have just done a little bit of research, but whatever.
Just wrapped up after 40. So we've got that right there. Let's see. God, where do I put all this? We're going to figure it out together. Give me 1 second.
You never figured it out, sir. Never. I just throw books wherever. I still do that.
All right. Then I picked up for A Song at My Half.
I don't have this one either. I did the 9 Princes in Amber, probably about the first 20% of it, and it just didn't nab me. And it was also super uncomfortable to read. That thing's like 1,000 pages, if I remember correctly. Like, it's hard to read from. And so I ended up unhauling that. I'm not opposed to doing the Chronicles of Amber, like, at all. It's just I didn't want to have that on my shelves anymore.
Price books, and it's funny, as soon as I picked this up, my sister ended up calling me to wish me a happy birthday. And she's like, oh, you started your booktube channel. I was like, yeah. She's like, I've got something for you. I was like, what is it? It was this. I'd already bought it. She had just finished it, and she wanted to tell me about it.
I actually still remember that conversation.
So that's just a funny little tidbit right there. But this is Roger Zelazny's The Great Book of Amber. This is the entire Amber Chronicles 1 through 10. If you look right here on the back, there is just this entire list of all the...
I hated that ring light. It was so bad.
Books that it includes. It is 1,200 pages, so it's really intimidating if you're just looking at the size of the book. But I mean, it's obviously broken up into 10 sections. I don't know a whole lot about this. Obviously, my sister gave it a big recommend. So yeah, there's that. All right. Then of course I got both books 1 and 2.
So I did read Legacy of Ash. I never made it to Legacy of Steel. I did buy the 3rd book, and I read Legacy of Ash, and then it was so complex I had to use the author resources on the back of the book, because he's got a website that helped you kind of understand what's going on. And it just, by the end, I was just... I thought I'd had a complete experience by Legacy of Ash. I never felt the call to return. And I mean, the entire trilogy took up that much space on my shelf, so I was just like, these big beefy books that I'm not reading, fine, I'll just move on. Like, I don't feel like I've missed anything by not continuing that series. So, yeah. And I'm gonna come up with an anecdote here, or I don't know, that I thought, like, it's like, oh, he used to work for the Games Workshop. I thought I was so clever. I wasn't clever. Like, it's readily available information.
Ash. This was on my most anticipated reads list, I do believe. He used to work for the Games Shop. Writing for Warhammer 40k, I believe. That's really all I know about these. They are big books. But Orbit,
the amount of effort I put into memorizing that 40k tidbit and like remembering to record it was ridiculous.
Notice, since they like to make their books a little beefier than they actually are, you can see that, you know, you've got wide margins, you can drive a car through the line spacing. I mean, it's big words. So I don't expect these to take super long, but look at those covers. Oh, yes!
I don't know why. Like, I still to this day will like twist my arm to show you a book instead of just adjusting my grip and holding it up. I just like twist and contort my body because I just, for reasons.
Alright, move along. Alright, I did get, based off a member on the Discord's recommendation, he said he really enjoyed it. I got the entire Rift Wars.
Okay, so I've read this entire trilogy. I love this entire trilogy. I've actually was gifted on like 2 birthdays later, either the next birthday or 2 birthdays later, the Eastern Press edition of Magician. The dream would be to get the Eastern Press of Silverthorn and A Darkness of Sethanon, so I've got them all in Eastern Press. Very expensive books, so probably not going to happen. But I absolutely love, although Grim Oak has been doing these as well, and I've got the Janny Wirtz Remedy Feist Empire first book, and I plan to pick up the other 2 if they ever choose to release them. But yeah, like the Grim Oak ones are really beautiful, and I would love to have those as well. Like, I would love to have special editions of that trilogy and the Empire trilogy. And I've already started the Empire, and I've kind of started with a different edition the Eastons of Magician, but fantastic books. But I don't have that Magician anymore. I still have that Silverthorn and that A Darkness at Sethanon, but yeah.
Saga in the UK binding. I've already talked about Magician a number of times. It's funny because the first one is so big, and then the last two are just itty bitty next to it. So maybe I can understand why they broke this into 2 parts in the US edition, just because it was so much bigger than the other 2 books. Maybe it kind of made sense visually to have 4 parts. I don't know. I like the big chunker, and then a nice little wind down of the tinier.
Oddly enough, I'm not such a huge fan of chonkers anymore. They take up a lot of time to read.
Editions. So we've got Magician, A Darkness of Sethanon, and Silverthorn, all by Raymond E. Feist. All right, I'm going to put these... Well, I guess I'll put you right there. All right, I don't want to topple over and damage any of these. All right, in the UK hardcover, I did get the Scott Lynch's Lies of Loch Lomond.
I didn't know that these were included in my first book haul. I actually, like a month or 2 ago it was either... Nico came to visit me for a birthday trip. He always comes out. We both have March birthdays, and I gifted these to him just because they've been sitting on my shelf for apparently since 2021, and I hadn't read them. I tried doing the audio for Lies of Loch Lomond 2 to 3 times, and I always stop at the same spot, and I just never progressed past it. I don't know if that's Michael Page or if it's just me not being interested. I don't know, but I no longer have these.
And Red Seas Under Red Skies. These are books 1 and 2 of the Gentleman Bastards series.
I eventually picked up book 3 as well.
I have read most of this. I do believe I did put it down for a little bit. I plan on coming back.
By most of this, I meant 30%. I don't know why I said most of this.
And finishing it. I do like it though. It is typically just low fantasy.
I was enjoying it. It just, for some reason, I just constantly always gravitate towards something else.
Kind of a heist Ocean's 11 type fantasy. So there's those 2. They're super shiny, super pretty. I'm not used to this kind of coarser texture on a book, but I'm interested. They kind of creak a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that when you open them, but I'm hoping I don't split the binding or anything. But I really want.
I am so picky. Just whatever.
I'm gonna read these. I'm gonna have to start a new stack down here on the floor here soon. I did pick up the 8th book in.
I should never have done this. I collected the first 8 of Steven Eriksson's Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I had them all in the trade paperback sizes. They were all different sizes. I actually am half planning to do... there was an announcement that Broken Binding is doing a 2024 run of Malazan in hardcover, and I may go ahead and pick those up just to have them in the collection. But, like, these were they were a mess. They were all over the place. They were expensive as heck to track down. And I was so mad at Tell the Hounds. I think I tell this story here in the book haul. But, literally, I spent $40 for the one that's in my hand. And then 3 days later, or like half a week later, I was in half-price books. And there it was on the shelf for $8. I was so angry.
In Malazan Book of the Fallen, 8th book?
But,
hold on.
I don't have these anymore.
I think Tall Hounds is book number 8. I won't be reading this till next year, but I mean, I was able to find this. These are super expensive to kind of track down. And of course, as soon as I found this, I looked and looked and looked, and then a week later, I walk into my local half-price bookstore, and there it is for $8.99 in fairly decent condition. I mean, not brand new condition, but it was in good condition. So I was a little salty about it. But I mean, it is super cool. I'm only on the 3rd book of Malazan, so I don't have any point of reference here yet. But I am liking what I'm reading so far. So super excited to get to that. I believe mid next year.
Next year.
So I wanted to collect the entire Malazan Book of the Fallen in the big trade paperback just because they're floppy and they sit nice in the hand, and yeah, love it. All right, starting a new stack over here. All right, this one I don't know a whole lot about. It is an older fantasy.
I just recently read this one. I didn't know it was in my first book haul. I love Stormwarden by Janie Wirtz. It's amazing. Everybody should be reading Stormwarden. It's great sci-fantasy. It's an interesting twist, great characterizations, so good. I waited way too long to read this. I mean, I just read it, within the last 4 or 5 months. It took forever for me to get to.
I don't know if I put this in my classic fantasy recommendation. If I didn't, shame on me. I should have, even though I haven't read it. I got this based off of Nico from Nico's Book Reviews recommendation. He had gotten this exact bind-up, and he has read Stormwarden on it, and seemed to like it. He's eagerly awaiting my thoughts, and I'm eagerly waiting to give them to him. Unfortunately, I believe this bind-up is out of print. So your best chance of scoring this, I mean, look at that cool artwork. It is an omnibus.
They do have audiobooks, and they are available in ebook as well. I think you can get these all over eBay and secondhand store as well. So they're not super hard to come by, but I don't think they're in print.
3 books in it. I believe it's called, what is this called? The Cycle of Fire. Yeah, it's right there, big on the cover. I don't know how I missed it. This is The Cycle of Fire by Jenny Warts. I got this for, I think, $7 off of eBay. So it's not too hard to find, but it is out of print, so you're not going to find this on like Amazon or like at Barnes & Noble. So you probably need to shop secondhand market for this. All right. Then we get to some of my book outlet purchases. I don't know anything about this other than...
Ugh. I pulled the plug on these so fast. And I recently, last year, read The Daughter of Red Winter. And I didn't have a good experience with that book either. I thought it, like, the beginning and the end were really good, and the middle was just a slog. And the beginning of Blackwing, like, I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't pulling me in. It reminded me too much of the Black Company. And I don't like the Black Company. I've DNF'd the Black Company, and just because it was guilty by association of just reminding me of the Black Company, and I just yanked the cord. I did come back, and I did try Daughter of Red Winter, and that's a series I'm not really interested in continuing. But yeah, I no longer have these.
And I read a brief synopsis of it on my Kindle, and then noticed that it was for the entire trilogy was on sale on Book Outlet, and that is The Raven's Mark by Ed McDonald. I do know that some other booktubers have recently acquired this. I believe Megan from Megan's Reading Revelations has recently acquired this as well. I like that the spines match, but I don't like... I got tiny hands. That the covers don't match. You can see that it's kind of all over the place. Scrowfall doesn't match the layout of Ravencry or Blackwing, so that does bug me a little.
It didn't make sense, like, why they didn't match. That still bugs me to this day. I don't even own those books, and I'm annoyed.
A little bit. Here, maybe that's even better. There we go. So you can kind of see how these are kind of uniform, and then this just kind of breaks the mold, which kind of bugs me. But yeah, I'm super forward to getting into these. They're not super long books. These cost me like $9 for all three. So Book Outlet's not going to break the bank. You can tell by the dot on the bottom, these are return overstocks. So they're basically brand new books that they were overstocked and they weren't going to sell them. So they sold them to Book Outlet to get rid of. I'm assuming that's how that works. A couple gifts that I got from my wife are 16 Ways...
I didn't know this was in my initial book haul. I just read this last month. Loved it. And I need to get to it because I still don't have the third book. I need to get the third book. I don't know why I don't have it. I've recently been filling in holes in my collection, and for some reason I haven't filled that hole. So, yay.
To Defend a Walled City and How to Rule an Empire and Get Away with It by K.J. Parker. I don't know anything about this other than I saw that... I've been seeing it on my Kindle as a recommended. It sounds kind of lighthearted. I've been looking for something a little lighter with a little bit more whimsy or a little bit more humor in it because I've been reading a lot of dense, dark stories, and you can only read so much of that before it starts affecting your mental health a little bit. And so I wanted something, which I've got more fun stuff to get to. And I've been making sure to kind of inject that so that once I'm done with these big, hefty books, I've got something to look forward to kind of make sure I don't fall into a reading slump. I don't know about them. I like the kind of antique look of these. It looks like it's just got classic scroll work and illuminated. They look illuminated. That's what I was trying to think of. I was kind of fumbling for the word illuminated. The covers are kind of illuminated, like, they were done in a monastery or something like that.
I remember delivering that line of "these look illuminated." Like, that just kind of came back to me in a wave. Just because, I don't know, that for some reason that has stuck in my memory. But, yeah, like, I was super happy when I was able to think of the word illuminated. I don't know.
You can see that this guy's on a cart and he's like, ah! So, don't know anything about him. Super excited to get to him. Moving on. Based off of the recommendation from Christopher Rocchio, author of The Sun Eater, basically, he did
I already know what's coming up. It's Shadow and Claw, it's Gene Wolfe. I don't have these anymore. I got intimidated after I took my long break from Malazan, and I was just like, these are not for me. Everyone was like, oh, well, don't worry, like, Gene Wolfe is, like, worse. And I was just like, what do you mean worse? I was like, oh, it's so much more complex. I just kind of took those off the shelf and was like, no thanks. That's not my cup of tea. If it's more complicated than Malazan, I'm not the target audience for something like that.
Talked about these books specifically, and then literally the next day I walked into the used bookstore, and there they were. I was able to pick up both of these for, I think, around $12. And that is Gene Wolfe's The Book of the New Sun, I believe is what it was called. Yeah, Book of the New Sun. I do know that these are sci-fi fantasy, which is kind of a style that you don't really see a lot anymore. But I'm super excited to get into it. I don't know anything about it other than that people seem to draw similarities between this and the Sun Eater trilogy. So he went and read them after he wrote his book, and then decided to use some of the influence there on the other books. I think is what he said.
I remember that live stream that Christopher did.
Not, but he said something similar. Anyway, moving on. I also picked up used earlier in February the first book of The Salvagers. And now I have books...
I'm so annoyed. I still have these on my shelf. I still really want to read them. I haven't yet. Somebody out there, give me the push. If you're one of my patrons, please vote for me to read this. Like, make me read these books already, because I'm dying to know if I'm going to like them. And I am just apparently a massive procrastinator, so make me do better.
2 and 3 of the Salvagers, a big deal for the whole galaxy and the worst of all possible worlds. This is sci-fi with a little bit of funny. It's not like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy funny, but it's supposed to be like the humor of Firefly. And, like I said, I'm looking to read a little bit more uplifting, kind of not so taking itself serious books. And I'm hoping that these will do that. And again, I keep finding myself gravitating towards Orbit books. I keep finding authors that I love published by Orbit. So hopefully that stands true here. And then I got Self Pup here. I was able to score this for like 355.
Ooh, I really like this one. It seemed very Mass Effect, though, the video game. And I ended up giving it like about a 3.5 out of 5. And then I don't own that book anymore, mainly because it was only a 3.5 out of 5 read. But it was an interesting read, and if you like that kind of video game style of book, it's worth a read. Just some things. Like, my mindset now is a little bit different, and I think I could let some things go. But at the time, like, I wasn't letting certain things slide. And so I don't have that one anymore. I got a killer deal on it. I think I'm about to tell the story. It's like $2.50. I can speak.
Super on sale on Amazon. It is The Dark That Dwells, Matt Digman and Ryan Roddy. These are author booktubers. And they happened to just pop into my comment section one day, and they're like, oh, hey, and so I kind of checked them out, realized they had a book, realized it was sci-fi, and then they were like, oh, it's kind of like Star Wars mixed with Firefly. Again, if you tell me something's like Firefly, just take my money. Just, here, have it. Just, let me go get my wallet, I'll open it up to you, you can have a couple bucks.
More Mass Effect than anything.
Bam. So, I'm hoping to get into this. I've seen a couple other people get it, but I haven't really seen it make a lot of rounds, so hopefully I really love this, and I can really hype this up, because I'm super excited. I love the cover art. It just looks so pretty. Okay. Then I got, one of these is off of Book Outlet. Which are you? This one's off of Book Outlet. I got this one.
So I got mad at Tad Williams. Well, I didn't get mad at Tad Williams. I got mad at Daw for what they did to Into the Narrow Dark. These don't match. I don't have these on my shelf anymore. I'm going to do these on audio before I do anything. So, yeah, I don't own these anymore because the covers do not match. Like, it's not even close. They didn't even try. And it's awful.
$10. And then I got this one off of Amazon. And this is book 1 and 2 of The Last King of Osten.
I did think Empire of Grass was gorgeous, though.
The sequel to Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which I read about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm planning on... Look at the art, though. It's just so cool. You see that? I have no idea if I'm in frame or if you can see that. But it's just gorgeous artwork. I read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and then The Heart of What Was Lost. I read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn in 2015. The Memory of What Was Lost in 2017. And then I've been waiting for this to be completed before I went and picked it up. I think the final book drops this year, so that will be perfect timing in order for me to get into it. So I'm super excited.
It's one of those series that got expanded, so of course the final book didn't drop. So maybe that's why they had to switch cover artists. I don't know.
I am completely brain dead. My thoughts have left me. Send help. Okay, and we're back. I am looking forward to get into this. Okay. These two are kind of eBay reads, or eBay purchases, not reads. Read off of eBay.
Yeah, so I started reading Drizzt, Homeland, and there were certain cultural decisions and logical decisions made within the story that I didn't quite understand. And again, I'm very bad at letting certain things go, and I just couldn't get past these issues. And because of that, like, I just had no interest in reading R.A. Salvatore anymore. So these just, guilty by association of being written by the same author, completely different stories, completely different worlds, they got on hold. After they stayed on my shelf for about a year, and then it was after I think I did a final playthrough of Skyrim. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And I was like, I have no desire for anything related to Skyrim, so I associated these with Skyrim, and off the shelf they went.
It's the second and third book. I don't remember which is which. I'll figure it out eventually, though. But this is book 2 and 3 of the Coven series by R.A. Salvatore. And really, all I know is this is supposed to be Skyrim-ish. I enjoyed Skyrim enough to go ahead and purchase both books. I've got book 1 right there. Boom. All right. It kind of reminds me of Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, so maybe. Here. Okay. And then I got these also used. Come here. Come. Yeah. So I got this. All 3 of these were half-price book purchases. Always buy.
See, I didn't know I got LPQ all that time ago, which means I must have been watching BookTube a lot longer than I originally thought I must have been watching booktube for around 2 years before I decided to start my channel, because to have Shadow and Betrayal, which is the first two books in LPQ on my shelf at the start of my channel, like this is like maybe my 10th or 12th video, really blows my mind and shocks me. I have read the entire series. I got rid of these because these were garbage. The ink was like light reflective, and then pages were falling out like randomly as I was reading them. So I've got the UK Orbit editions, and those were better. And they were also different sizes. These like have the UK Orbit for some reason have like text alignment issues. Like LPQ gets no respect, and it's atrocious. I wish like Grim Oak or somebody would like do LPQ special editions so I could actually get some decent copies of those books, because they are 5 stars, amazing character driven fantasy.
By thrift, you can get so much. I realized this month that if you buy used books, you can get really good condition books for not a lot of money. And oh hello, so we have a visitor. Okay, you can get. Oh, okay, you want rubs? You want?
Oh, Maggie.
You want rubs? Okay, come on up. Say hi.
I no longer have this dog because the dog got a leg injury, and then my daughter liked jumping on the dog, and she kept hurting the dog, and the dog was getting mad and not reacting well to my daughter anymore. So she now lives with my sister-in-law. I rehomed her to make sure she got a good life, but she and my daughter just weren't cohabitating very well. But she's a beautiful dog. And she's a lot happier now that she doesn't have a toddler constantly jumping on her. She did not like that. But yeah, I forgot that she was in this video.
Hey, hi. Can you get down? Okay, cool girl. Oh no, don't knock over the books. Okay, but yeah, I went to a Barnes & Noble and I went to Half Price Books, and the price differences were staggering. So I got the first omnibus set in the Long Price Quartet, based off of a recommendation from the Library of Alexandria. And I really don't know much about this, but it's supposed to take place over the lifespan of these characters, so I'm looking forward to that. I do have the second book, also purchased from Book Outlet, on the way here. It won't be here for like 10 days. Book Outlet takes forever. Alright. And then I was also able to score in hardcover for the price of just one of these.
Yeah, I got 2 Kabola Burn, or Cibola Burn, however you pronounce it. I still don't know how to pronounce it. And I DNF'd the series. I have been told that I DNF'd way too soon, and that like Nemesis Games is where it gets good. So some point in the future, I do intend to read Nemesis Games, but we'll just have to see.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Kabola Burn and Nemesis Games, books 4 and 5, in hardcover of The Expanse. So I've got 1 through 3 back here, and now I've got 4 and 5. And then my absolute favorite, if you have not gone to Discworld Emporium, just in case you know where it's going, they sell these beautiful hardcovers that are very readable of Discworld books, and they sell them in sets. So you've got the Death set, you've got the Night Watch set, so you can get all the books in these sets, and then they are just absolutely...
I no longer have the Death books. This is unpopular opinion. The Death books do not work for me. The City Watch is where it's at. I liked Thief of Time. I liked the Death parts of Reaper Man. Mort was okay. I liked most of Hogfather. Soul Music really didn't work for me. Half of Reaper Man, I just felt it didn't need to be there. Or I think if it's the Wenzel Poons book, Wenzel Poons started out really interesting, and then by the back half of the book, I feel like he'd lost the plot. So that didn't work for me anymore. And then certain decisions that are made within Mort, like I'm just like, what? I don't get it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with that one. I don't have these anymore. These now also are with my good friend Nico from Nico's Book Reviews.
Gorgeous. This was a gift from my in-laws, and I could not be happier. We have got the Hogfather right there.
I did read them, though.
The Thief of Time. Just look at the side. We got Reaper Man.
I think, honestly, Thief of Time was my favorite Death book.
At the side there. Look at the back, just kind of all the way the same across. We've got Mort right here.
But saying Thief of Time is my favorite Death book in the Death collection, I think Reaper Man has the best Death sections.
And we've got Soul Music. Now, they also got me the Night Watch set, but that won't be included until April's.
I still got those.
I say book haul. I can't haul like this anymore.
Look at me lying. I've been hauling. Like I said, I've been hauling like this nonstop.
I'm really running out of space. So.
And that he did run out of space, and then he went and bought more shelves. I do believe that was everything that I hauled that month. So this has been me reacting to my very first book haul. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Let me know if this was a massive waste of time. Just let me know generally what you think. That's all I've really got for you today, guys. So till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.